Thanks so much for coming today. Good afternoon. I know I'm the only thing keeping you guys away from the food truck, so I'll try not to go on too long, but hope you can enjoy some of the refreshments that we'll be having for our fans here at Assembly Hall or at Memorial Stadium this year. I want to talk a little bit about football from the administrative side. I know you've been talking to Kevin and the guys a lot on more of the football side about what we're trying to do as administrators to support the program. We'll talk about investments in the program, promotions, game day experience, and unfortunately a little traffic. But first I want to talk a little bit about why football is so important. And some of this is obvious and some of it I've talked about before, but I think it's worth mentioning. And I think the priority on football is really based upon three things. Number one, football is important unto itself. Whether you like it or not, football disproportionately represents a university, not only athletically, but sort of comprehensively. And I think Wells was the first one to say, if we're going to have football, we need to be excellent in football. And President McRobbie said the same thing to me. If we're going to have the program, let's make it excellent. I think you've probably heard Kevin Wilson say, hey, we're an excellent school. We need to have an excellent football program. And it's not a newsflash that we have not been excellent in football. And I think we owe it to our fans and our alumni to have an excellent football program. And so we care about football because it's football and football is important. We also care about football because it drives so much of the other things that we're trying to do in the athletic department. Indiana University Athletics is the second most underfunded athletic department in the conference. If you take our budget and divide it by the number of sports we sponsor, you come up with a number that is the smallest in the conference, but for Rutgers. And that creates a certain set of challenges in terms of being competitive. And the reason that we are low in terms of our funding is because we have a small football stadium, we don't fill it. The best funded athletic departments have very large football stadiums and they fill it. Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State, all competitors in the Big Ten East, make more money in one football game than we make in an entire 7-game home schedule. That's what we're trying to compete against. An Iowa newspaper several years ago, I think in 2012, did a comparison study and found that Michigan made the most money off of football at $45 million per year, and Indiana University made the least amount of money off football, about $4.5 million per year. And I know our number's gone up. It's closer to 10 now, but Michigan's gone up dramatically. So what I'm trying to say is the stakes are high in terms of improving football so we can increase our revenue number to not only help the football program, but help the entire athletic department. And we can do that even at the current size of Memorial Stadium, 52,929. If we're able to fill that stadium week in and week out, that would be $10 million to the bottom line, because the fixed costs are the same. It costs the same to throw a party for 22,000 people as it does 52,929. And $10 million on an $85 million-ish budget is real money. So there's an issue that transcends football that goes beyond the rest of the athletic department, which is why we're very focused on improving the football program. And then finally, I think that football is an important binder for the student body. I believe that if you attend football games as a college student at Indiana, you're more likely to attend as an alumnus. And if you attend as an alumnus, you're more likely to get involved in your school, your Dean's Advisory Council, maybe make a gateway gift to the IU Foundation. I think it's not for everybody, but I think it can be glue that is a part of campus life that continues a lifelong connection with Indiana. So I think we as an athletic department owe it to our football team, the department, and really the university at large to have an excellent football program, and that's why we've been very focused on trying to do just that. So this afternoon I'd like to talk a little bit about how we're trying to continue to do that with investments, with promotions, game day experience, and then try to mitigate some of the traffic issues that I know everybody in this area is quite familiar with. It really starts with the continuity that I've talked about really since I got here. I think one of the keys, really the two keys to success in football, I think, are continuity and investment. And I think that's the difference I think that we've tried to bring to the football program. So in terms of continuity, obviously, I believe Kevin Wilson is doing a fantastic job. More importantly, I put my money where my mouth is and gave him a new 6-year contract, paying him much more competitively within the conference. He has more years on his contract than anybody else in the conference, but for Harbaugh, and Jim Harbaugh has the same number of years left. We also spread the love a little bit and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on the coaching staff to attract defensive coordinator Tom Allen, to attract back defensive line coach Mark Hagan, and to bring Keith Caton, a great strength conditioning coach, to us, as well as retain valuable members of the balance of the coaching staff and increase some of their salaries as well. I think that's the most important thing we've done. A close second is the announcement of the closing in of the south end zone and building the Excellence Academy. While that effort is primarily driven to improve our student athlete personal development program, the benefits of the football program are undeniable. We're going to have this fantastic new front door to campus. We will close in the bowl and create a louder, I think tougher, more collegiate environment. We're going to spend $53 million to do that, all raised through philanthropy within the athletic department, no student fee, no university subsidy, and no General Assembly appropriation in that effort. So that'll be fantastic. The other investments we always are trying to add to the physical facilities. This year, probably the biggest deal is field turf. We spent $700,000 to replace the turf in Memorial Stadium. I think you'll see a bolder look, bolder graphics in the end zone, a bigger, bolder state of Indiana silhouette at midfield. And then we've spent probably $40,000 or $50,000 in additional branding and just upgrading throughout the facility. So we've made lots of investments over the last 8 years, but we're not resting on our laurels, and we'll continue to do that year in and year out. That was my commitment to Kevin, but more importantly, I think it's a commitment to IU football fans that we are going to do what it takes to take this program where we want it to go. Promotions. We've hopefully you have seen our Raise the Flag promotions. I think the new flagpole, sort of new, I think it was 2013, but the whole concept of raising the flag has captured people's imagination. It's become our theme for the upcoming season. We're encouraging our fans to use Raise the Flag as the hashtag as they communicate about IU football. It's on our billboards. It's part of our own social media campaign. So we're excited about that, and we think people are getting into that. I put some mini helmets out here. All of our season ticket holders received a mini helmet package. My granddaughter Betsy enjoyed the mini helmets quite a bit. I hope others did as well. We're having some fun with our helmets. We'll do some fun things with helmets and alternative uniforms this year, so that'll be great. And then this is actually my ticket booklet. I am a season ticket holder. This is my ticket booklet, and if any of you guys go for free and you have your press credentials and all that, so you don't know what real people have to do. They have to buy tickets to go, and when they get their envelope, all this stuff would fall out, and it'd be like a magazine with the coupons falling out, and it was all kind of trashy. And so we put together this really nice booklet. It's got a message from Kevin. It's got our schedule. All the tickets are in it. Parking is in it. I just think this is a nice amenity for our fans, and there's been real positive feedback on that. And we've got the Raise the Flag and that whole deal. We're trying to continue to make IU football very family friendly, and this is part of doing that. We've got the oversized footballs. I don't know if there's one around here, but we've taken a page out of other communities that have done that. We're going to ramp that up and have the oversized footballs all around campus. We really appreciate our partners, the City of Bloomington, the Chamber of Commerce, and others who have gotten into that as well. And we're going to do a little more cutting edge stuff and have people have fun with those footballs. A new innovation, we will have Memorial Stadium tours on Fridays before game day. A lot of times you have people wandering around, hey, can I get in and see? We'll organize that and make it fun. We'll let the fans get out on the field and catch passes. photos with team trophies, behind the scenes access, and also not only get into Memorial Stadium, but the press box and Mellencamp Pavilion, Cook Hall, and then the new Simon Scott Assembly Hall as well. Those will be 7 to 9 on Friday nights before the game, and fans can sign up for that just by getting on our fan page at iuhoosiers.com. And I think that'll be fun, and we're eager to show off some of the stuff we've been doing here, and especially here in Memorial Stadium. We're going to have a lot of oldies but goodies. I won't go through every one of those, but I do want to highlight a little bit the Glow Run. That'll be back for our kickoff game, our kickoff home game against Ball State on September 10th. This started, we didn't have huge expectations for it, but it got out of the box in a great way, and we are going to have that again this year. In fact, last year's Glow Run received the National Association of Collegiate Marketing Administrators Silver Medal for the best student promotion. It's again open to the public, and families are welcome too. It's about a mile. It's pretty easy going, and we encourage people to do that with our home opener. That's kind of the promotions bucket. Game days. This may be the newest item, and I think it's actually a big deal. We are going to have a ride share drop-off location. We're really going to promote Uber and other ride share mechanisms to make it convenient for our fans and alleviate, hopefully be part of our traffic alleviation strategy. So there'll be more to come on that in terms of location and so forth, but that'll be a big push for us to encourage ride share and particularly Uber. We're going to have pedicabs, and Andy, that's not like having your toenails clipped. That is guys that come around on bikes and give you a ride like a rickshaw thing. I think I say rickshaw. Can I say rickshaw? Kind of like a rickshaw on a bike. There'll be 10 bikes. They'll be here in September and October, and they'll be free of charge, and you tip the person, and that'd be great. But we think our fans will like that, and particularly as we encourage people to maybe park a little bit further away or whatever as part of our parking initiative. The pedicabs will be good. 3 new water stations, working with the city of Bloomington. Those will be great. It's not only a sustainability piece, a green effort, part of our Greening Cream and Crimson, but it's also hopefully a fan-friendly piece. So you don't have to pay $3 or whatever it is for water. You can bring in an empty container, or you can use any of our containers and get free water here in Memorial Stadium. We've got one of our food trucks here. That's a new feature. We'll have food trucks at the games. They're going to be outside of gate E2, as well as out in the red lot, to try to bring some options and some fun to the food options here at Memorial Stadium. And also, for the first time, there'll be free refills on all refreshments. If you buy the souvenir cup of Coke or other refreshing products, then you can get free refills with that. Again, trying to be fan friendly. We think between our youth ticket, which is the best deal in the Big Ten, our generally low ticket prices, things like Knott Hole Park, and free water and free refills. We're trying to make this something that families can really afford and enjoy when they come to the games. Unfortunately, we'll also be needing to emphasize our promotion of "Don't be that guy, don't be the drunk knucklehead at the game, and don't tolerate drunk knuckleheads around you." And our fans are fantastic. Sometimes they get a little beyond where they need to be, and unfortunately, sometimes the fans from our opponents, are on out-of-town rules and get a little beyond where they need to be. So we will continue to encourage our fans to text 812-369-MyIU. That's 812-369-6948. I'll be putting that text out in a message to the fans before the game, and we'll also encourage our staff to be on the lookout for that, to make sure that somebody having a bad day doesn't ruin the experience for everybody else. Finally, talk about avoiding traffic delays. Again, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. 37 is a mess. You can't sugarcoat that. It's frustrating that it's taking so long. I'm glad that that's receiving a lot of attention from Mayor Hamilton and Mayor Hogsett in Indianapolis and others who are frustrated with the state of 37. But we've been trying to work very closely with NDOT and the 69 partners to improve that experience, trying to open green lights through Martinsville and on the south side of Indianapolis, minimize cone zones, but candidly, there's only so much lipstick we can put on that pig. It's going to be what it is, at least through this football season. So I am asking fans to come early. Don't go on 37 unless you come early. You can't avoid, I think, a lot of trouble if you do come early. But if you don't come early on 37, please use one of the alternate routes. Otherwise, you'll have a frustrating experience on 37. It doesn't have to be a bad experience. Come down early. We open the parking lots 5 hours before game time. We open Hoosier Village 3 hours before game time. So you can have a great time coming early. Or if you don't want to come so early, just come a different way. Come down 67, come down 65. It's not going to take you that much longer than it normally would, and you'll be in a lot better shape when you get down here. So we're going to put on our website, and I'll have in the press release some of the details on that. But if I were advising my family on how to go, and as I do, I would tell them to take Highway 67 down to Spencer and then across 46 into Bloomington. 65 can be a good way to go as well. There's a couple of little hitches along there too that I think will be going away during the season, but that can be good. 70 even can be a good way to take that over to 231 and down. And then we do have a lot of fans, and we'll have a lot of fans that aren't necessarily coming funneled through Indianapolis, but from the east, and there's a route to go that way as well, which we highlight. We have been trying to communicate with NDOT. They have been responsive. We've appreciated that very much. We think communication is very important. We will be aggressively communicating on traffic. We'll have more electronic signs as people get into Bloomington. We have a dedicated suite in our press box for the first time ever, dedicated just to observing and communicating on issues of traffic. We'll be aggressive on social media. We're sending emails to all of our season ticket holders, and maybe the best thing people can do to get up-to-the-minute information is to sign up to get game day related texts that we can send in real time all throughout the pregame. And you get those by just texting IUFB to 313131. So if you send IUFB to 313131, you'll be on our text list, and we'll be able to send you information about how to maneuver through the traffic. We'll be doing a lot of oldies but goodies. I won't go through the whole list. You guys know them, but all of our event staff will be wearing these. So Pete DePremio asked me for a Ferrari. That's not what this is for. This is for at the games, encouraging people to ask questions. How can we make your experience better? Our event staff will be armed with Hoosier bucks again. So if the little girl dumps her Coke and is wah, 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 we can give them some Hoosier bucks to make their day a little better. The walk will continue. We're going to keep doing that from Mellencamp like we did last year, which will be great. Hoosier Village, again, opens 3 hours prior to kickoff. Kicks for Keeps, Knothole Park. We really are continuing to, I think, enhance the experience through our event staff. And that'll include uniform greetings that we've tried to do about welcoming people to IU and hoping they had a great day at IU. I won't bore you with all the other details of these. They're in the press release that we'll be putting out. I will maybe make one note that the Fan Advisory Board, which has really helped us generate a lot of these ideas, continues. We've put out an alert asking people if they're interested in being a part of that to let us know. With that, I will conclude and be happy to take any questions or hear any comments that you might have. Thanks. That was a lot, but thank you for your patience. I appreciate it.
Fred, do you have a timetable for the end zone project, when it might be done, when it might start?
Yeah, thank you. I should have mentioned that. So the South End Zone Excellence Academy project was authorized by the Board of Trustees in June of this year. We have a few other approvals to go through, but we are confident that those will be received, and then we want to start on that as soon as we can after the end of the football season. So Um, by December, or at least January, I think we'll be in the ground working on that. It's an 18-month process, so we'll be in process on the following season and then open for business the season after that. And I'm really, really excited about it. The implications for football are pretty obvious. We will take that opportunity to improve the football locker room, which has grown a little tired compared to a lot of the other new stuff that we've done, but it'll be a very student-athlete centered building for leadership and life skills, health and wellness, rehabilitation, nutrition. We think it'll really give us a competitive advantage and more importantly, treat our student athletes the way they need to be treated.
This is a down the line kind of question, but when you look at your future vision, some of your Big Ten brethren have really increased the size of their press box to do also luxury boxes and whatnot, which could be a revenue stream. Is that something that you would envision down the road as being a major investment in the stadium at some point?
Yeah, Andy, I think so. I mean, we chose to make our investment really focused on the student-athlete experience. Everything about the Excellence Academy is to enhance the student-athlete. It's not about administrators or administrator space or big donor space, which, you know, I get that the donors are important, and I'm not going to pretend that they're not. But I think the first major investment in Memorial Stadium under my tenure, I really wanted to focus on that. Having said that, we have a long-term wish list, and I think expanding the press box for all the reasons you identify is a good one, and we'll be on there. And I think the timing will be better because I'm confident that we're going to get football right. This is a tough market in football with the Colts, and I think Purdue's experienced that. So I think the best time to do that is when we really got football rocking and rolling, and I'm confident that that will happen. Pete?
I know you talked before about two potential projects, or two projects. One, fixing, renovating, upgrading the soccer facility, and then the wrestling volleyball. Where are you at with those projects?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for that. And I'll take a step back. So, since I got here in 2009, we have opened $130 million worth of new facilities. And I don't think facilities are the be-all and end-all. I think, frankly, coaches are the be-all and end-all. But facilities are very, very important. And I think we had too much of a gap between where we were and where our competitors were. And we don't necessarily need to set the scale on everything, but I think we need to be competitive so kids aren't making decisions just based upon facilities. So we've invested about $130 million in facilities that have opened since 2009. We have another about $130 million in new facilities as part of our bicentennial campaign. That includes the Simon Scott Assembly Hall, the South End Zone Excellence Academy, an indoor arena for basketball, for volleyball and wrestling, because we've got to get those guys off of 46 in the bypass and bring them into the athletics campus. I don't think it's fair that they're off out there, and it's part of the university master plan to get that on the athletics campus. So we'll be building an indoor arena for volleyball and wrestling. Those three projects will happen. The two additional projects that we hope will happen as targets of opportunity, if we can raise the appropriate funds, are rebuilding the golf course, which has been a kind of a bugaboo at IU almost since it opened, getting the golf course right, and then renovating Armstrong Stadium to get that where it ought to be for our men's and women's soccer program. Those are the goals, the five major projects that I'd like to get done by the bicentennial of 2020, which isn't that far away because we just inducted the bicentennial class. The kids that are freshmen now will graduate in the bicentennial year. So if we're able to do that, that'll be $250 million of investment in athletics facilities in a decade. And in some ways that'd be exhibit A for misplaced priorities, but for the fact that that's not money that's coming from the university, that's not money that's coming from the General Assembly, that's not money that's coming from the student fee. That's all money that we have raised through philanthropy or will earn through our media deal or our marketing deals or so forth. But I think it will help Indiana University athletics be competitive for another generation. And that's what I'd like to get accomplished between now and the bicentennial.
Those, I guess, infrastructurally, if those moved along, those two specifically, I know you said last March that they were kind of like goals, but not as maybe concrete as South End Zone or volleyball wrestling.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Zach. So the obviously we're almost open on Assembly Hall. It's going to be awesome. And Memorial Stadium, we're going to break ground on that. And I'm confident we'll break ground on the indoor arena sometime in the first or second quarter of next calendar year. So that's on track. We need a major donor for the golf course renovation, and I'm very optimistic that we'll get that. And then we need a major donor for the soccer project, and I'm hopeful about that.
When you talk about working with I-69 partners in NDOT, have they been specifically responsive to game days and Saturdays, not just with traffic lights, but actually trying to clear lanes for specific days? So they've got down to that kind of detail.
They've been very communicative, but I think sometimes their hands are tied because of arrangements they have with subcontractors and so forth. I mean, I'm not going to kid you; it drives me crazy when I drive by and there's all these barrels and nothing's going on, and I get frustrated by that. But I also understand it's a complicated process, and so I think NDOT is doing the best they can. I think 69 Partners is doing the best they can. I have no criticism of them. We are where we are, and hopefully we'll continue to have great communication. Hopefully their situation with their subs and so forth will improve. But until then, people just really have to come early, which isn't so bad. Bloomington's a pretty good place to be on game day. A lot of fun stuff. We're going to have fun stuff in our parking lots. We're going to have fun stuff at Hoosier Village. You know, Yogi's isn't too far away. Uber goes to Nick's. You know, you can have a good time. Or if you want to come more close to the game, these alternative routes just aren't that bad. I did the 65 piece and the 67 piece last year on some occasions when I was coming from Indianapolis, and they were great.
But I just want to double check. You said the 5 major projects you want to finish are, go through them one more time.
Yeah, so it'll be the renovation of Assembly Hall, which obviously we're going to open that, dedicate that on October 14th. It's going to be awesome. Number 2 is the South End Zone Excellence Academy, which will close in Memorial Stadium, but more importantly provide a home for our student athlete development program, our Excellence Academy. Number 3 will be the indoor arena, which will be on the athletics campus for volleyball and wrestling, and also hopefully serve as an indoor training facility to alleviate some of the demands that we have on Mellencamp, particularly in the winter months. So it'll be a real win, I think, across the board for us. Those will happen. I'm confident those are teed up and will happen. Our 2 targets of opportunity then are the golf course, rebuilding the golf course, which is very much needed, and that needs a lead gift, and I'm frankly confident we will get that lead gift and that will get done. And then secondly among the, or 5th out of 5, secondly among the targets of opportunity, renovate Armstrong Stadium and make that the home of our men's and women's soccer program, not only in terms of the field, but in terms of the amenities and the offices and the practice facility and all the stuff that you need to have. When that was built, it was the premier soccer facility in the country. I don't think we can credibly lay claim to that anymore, given what's going on in some other places. And given our 8 stars and our tradition, all that, that's not the way it should be. I don't want the bicentennial to come and go without fixing that.
When you mentioned earlier that you're going to come to the revenue stream, and you said Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State make more in one home game than IU does for all the season. You're talking revenue from, you're taking TV and all that stuff off the table, right? You're talking revenue created
Right.
here in the stadium.
Right. So, take TV off the table. We're talking about hot dogs, parking, tickets, souvenirs. Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State make more money in one football game than we make in an entire 7-game home schedule. And that makes it challenging to compete. Now, I'm not singing the blues about that. I think we find a bunch of ways to compete. I think we're competing through creativity with things like the Excellence Academy and the Student Athlete Bill of Rights and the 24 Sports One team. And I think we're punching beyond our weight class, but it'll very much help us if we're at 52,929 game in and game out, which, like I said, will drop $10 million to our bottom line and help us compete better, across the board. And that's part of the reason why, only part of the reason why, but part of the reason why we're making those investments in football to get us where we need to be.
What's a realistic goal for attendance this year? 48,000, 50,000, 45,000?
Yeah, so the question was, what's a realistic goal for attendance? I'm really pleased that the year before I got here, I think we averaged around 30,000 a game, and ever since then we've been averaging about 45,000 a game. And a lot of that's attributable to where we're standing now, improving the stadium with the North End Zone project. I think the game day experience has helped. And then I think we're playing a competitive brand of football, and we haven't stepped back in a time when football attendance is tending to trend down. We trended up fairly dramatically, and while we've hit a bit of a glass ceiling, we've held that, and I'm fairly happy about that. So I think it's ridiculous when administrators step back and say, well, I can't do anything till the team wins. Oh, it's all on the team. I don't believe that. I think there's a lot of things you can do in terms of game experience, game day experience, fan engagement to encourage people to come. But I also acknowledge maybe that gets you in the red zone, but to get all the way to the end zone, the team has to be at a place where people really want to come see. And I think we're getting there, not only competitively, but it's such a fun brand of football. I mean, this offense is the best offense in the Big Ten. And it's not only the best offense in the Big Ten, I'd suggest to you it's the most disciplined offense in the Big Ten. To have more offensive snaps than anybody else in the Big Ten, yet the fewest turnovers and the fewest sacks, shows to me that you're doing something right. So they're really fun to watch, and then with the enthusiasm and emotion that Tom Allen brings to the game, you better get your sandwiches at halftime, because I don't think you're going to miss any of the action with these guys.